So when I first started this project, I thought I was going to have to rely a lot more heavily on my own experiences and my own kind of documentation of that. As I've started editing and started putting everything together, I realised I wanted to include more people's experiences because so many people are affected by issues like endometriosis or PCOS. But I wasn't really sure how many people I'd be able to get involved because it's obviously quite a personal matter, how many people would be willing to share that kind of thing. Rather than kind of reaching out to people, I ended up putting a Instagram story up, basically just saying, if anyone's ever been affected by kind of any reproductive health issues like PCOS, polycystic ovaries, or endometriosis, get in touch, let me know. And I also got my friend Layla to put the same thing on her Instagram as well. And the amount of responses we got were kind of crazy. I really wasn't expecting as many people kind of to come out of the woodwork, so to speak, because it was a lot of people that, you know, that we went to school with that we haven't spoken to in years, or like friends that you kind of just follow on Instagram and that's about it, you know. And so many people reached out, so many people got involved that I kind of made the decision to include as many other people as possible, because I think the core issue of reproductive health is that so many women are affected by it, but you just don't see it. You don't realise, even as a woman myself, knowing the stats I do. For endometriosis, it's about 10% of the population who suffer. For PCOS, it's about the same. I think a recent stat from Public Health England showed that about 30 to, I think, or 31% of women in the UK suffer from severe reproductive health issues. But of that 31 or 32 or however many percent, only half end up actually seeking help for it, because it's not seen as an issue that you can just go to the doctors about, because so many people go to the doctors and get told the exact same thing. Like, whenever I've been to the doctors, what do you get told? Oh, are you on the pill? No, it messes my mental health up. Another hormonal contraception. Or, have you tried paracetamol? Yes, of course I've tried fucking paracetamol. And you'll hear it throughout my video that they've had the same experiences with doctors, that they are not taken seriously until you keep going and you keep saying, no, this is something that is wrong with me and I want fixed, and they just don't listen. And it's just baffling to me that so many people can go to the doctors and so many people can be affected by these conditions, yet it's not seen as something that should be spoken about, or even spoken about by doctors, you know? Women's pain is just not a thing that is accepted as something that should be recognised or treated. It's just like, no, you should hide that. You keep that to yourself because that's about your periods. That's not something that you should talk about, even though it's a pain that hundreds and hundreds of thousands of women go through fucking every week. With endometriosis, you can be in pain the whole month. It doesn't matter whether you're on your period or not. I got a bit angry there, but you can see why. I think this film and making it has really solidified for me. I mean, I already thought a lot of these, but when you go into it and you start talking to friends that you've never even approached the subject with, it's crazy. It's crazy how many people were affected by it and just you would never know. That's what this film has become. It's a kind of ode to women in pain. An ode to women finally being accepted and finally being allowed to shout about their pain and tell people their experiences and what they have to deal with on a monthly basis, and convey the fact that not even doctors will take them seriously. So, yeah, an ode to frustration, we'll call it. Yeah, so I hope you enjoy. Fuck it, man.
So I got my first period when I was, I think, in year 7. So I was like 11 or 12. From then, I never really had them regularly. Like I would only ever have like a couple, maybe 3 or 4 every year. and there would be like several months in between and no real pattern to them, so I could never like predict when they were going to happen. So that was annoying for several years, obviously. And I think I remember talking to my mum about it when I was maybe 14, and her saying that she'd had a similar experience and that she'd been diagnosed with PCOS when she was about 20. I think I went to the doctor about it when I was maybe 15-ish, I want to say. And, explained that like I had a really irregular cycle, and it was starting to annoy me. I think I was 16 or 17, because it was when I was going to the doctor to sort of request being put on the pill, because I was seeing my first boyfriend. So the sort of answer that I got from the doctor was that this is really normal, I'll grow out of it, it's nothing to worry about, and they put me on the pill just for like contraceptive purposes anyway.
I went on the pill, I can't remember which pill it was now, but I went on the pill when I was about 15, which is quite strange really when you think about it, because it's like you're not even legally allowed to have sex in the UK under the age of 16, I believe. I initially went to the doctors to get put on Roaccutane or see if I could go to a dermatologist. However, they said that before I try that, I should try the pill first. So me and my mum, we had a conversation about it, and she was like, okay, I think you should see how it is. So I decided I would try it, and I genuinely don't think my brain has been the same ever since when I actually started taking the pill, maybe like two to 3 months after I started taking it. My skin got absolutely horrific. Like, I'd never had acne like that before. I'd always had like kind of teenage skin. It made it so horrifically bad that I did end up having to go on Roaccutane in the end because of it. And then I gained about 2 stone. And so I had never been like small, but that was quite a big toll on my mental health. At that age, obviously being at school, it's not really ideal. It gave me pretty low self-esteem and probably encouraged my eating disorder. And I also think that it definitely, something switched in my brain, like at the same time that all of these other changes were going on, like externally with my body. I felt like my whole mental space had completely changed. Like, I wasn't happy. I would just do completely like irrational things all the time, and that like wasn't in my nature at all before I started taking it. And I had really bad mood swings that would just like, weeks gone by, which I still suffer with now. So I don't know if that's like I don't take the pill anymore, obviously, but I don't know if that still had an effect on me. All of this only started happening after I started taking the pill. So I went back to the doctors. I told them, like, this is what's happening to me. I've put on so much weight. My skin is getting worse. Like, when you told me it was going to get better, what can I do about it? And they literally just prescribed me a different pill. And then it just deteriorated more. I went back to the doctors, asked them what I could do about it. And they said I hadn't spent enough time on that pill. I had to give it at least 6 months before they thought about other things for me. It was a horrible experience. It was absolutely horrible. My period pains were horrific. I never used to get period pains, but then also every time I would have a period and I'd be coming on, I would faint. I would faint for maybe the week leading up to when I was coming on, and which meant that I had to take loads of time off school. But it was like every time I went to the doctors to go and speak to them about it, they kind of either tried to prescribe me a different pill or told me that I hadn't given it enough time.
So, my experiences with the pill made me fucking crazy. Definitely increased my depression, definitely made me want to kill myself more. But doctors will laugh at you. Like, my sister went to the doctor and said, oh, I think the pill might be like contributing to my mental health, and he laughed at her. And it just shows, doctors don't listen to you. The pill does obviously work for some people, but I feel like you know yourself, so why can't doctors believe you and listen to people when they say, no, that doesn't work for me? I am still pushed by doctors to try the pill again. It's like, I know it's going to fuck me up even more. but they don't believe you, they don't listen, they don't understand.
There's something distinctly isolating about being a trans person with a uterus. A lot of medicine with regards to quote unquote women's health are very woman centric, and that's alienating at the best of times and disrespectful at the worst. Constantly with doctors, I've gotten comments like, "Oh, when you start a family, as a woman, you should such and such," and I just feel like there's not enough respect or information for doctors about trans people with uterus, and I just feel like it's not fair. I don't feel comfortable going to the doctor because not only because I have certain problems, but also because I know I'm going to get misgendered and dead named and disrespected whenever I go. Even before I came out as trans, I would feel uncomfortable by the fact that people are making these assumptions about me. You get put into a box when you have a uterus. You're expected to be a mother. You're expected to want children, but that's just not the case. And I'm fed up of, even without my personal situation, even without my personal identity, I'm fed up of that being assumed.
I'll be honest, at first I didn't really think it was much of a big deal. When I first hit puberty, I had a lot more hair than most young girls who had hit puberty. I had dark hair, especially around my chin, upper lip, and some parts of my neck. I thought this was normal because, you get facial hair and body hair once you hit puberty. Um, since I was young, I had irregular periods or periods that only lasted around 2 or 3 days. And I was young, so I thought, yeah, no period. I never thought to get it checked out. And it wasn't until I was around 20 that I started to realize maybe I should get this checked out. When I first went to the doctors, I gave my symptoms and voiced my opinion on how I believed it could be signs of PCOS, but it seemed like the only thing the doctor really understood was that I needed to lose an amount of weight so that I wasn't pre diabetic.
The main thing that made me realize that I probably had PCOS was the excessive facial hair. So, like, I've always been kind of a hairy person, just like in general, which hasn't really bothered me that much. But then I started to notice when I went off my pill that my chin hair basically started growing so fast, and it just kept accelerating and accelerating how fast it would grow back. And like, it's kind of bizarre that out of, all the things, like, I did have really delayed periods and painful periods and stuff, but for some reason that was something that I just sort of thought, oh, that's like normal, that's just me. But then when I had the excessive hair growth, I was like, oh no, I'm so ugly. Oh, something must be really wrong with me. Because that's when I Googled, that symptom, and it came up with PCOS. And I was like, oh, actually, that makes a lot of sense. I went online to see, I was like, well, this is really common, I'm sure there's an online community of women talking about how to deal with it. I went on Instagram, and I think I was just really shocked at how extreme it was and how it's almost like people are capitalizing off of women's insecurities because, it was almost like just going onto a diet Instagram or something like that. Where, it was all these pictures of people like losing loads of weight because obviously PCOS can cause weight gain, like losing insane amounts of weight, and then saying, like no gluten, no sugar, no dairy, and you have to do all these things, but then just like also loads of contradicting information as well. And it just felt very shaming. And it was, I think I said this before, that you know, because it's something that affects women and it affects body image and stuff, it becomes so much more about, you know, losing weight and being beautiful rather than being healthy. And, you know, also this kind of like extreme meal planning and control over food and like, you know, what seems to me to be somewhat of an unhealthy relationship with food where, you know, I'm definitely going to be cutting stuff down and changing my general like snacks and meals, but at the same time I'm not going to say, oh, I'm never going to eat this again, or I can't eat this, or I can't eat that. Like, definitely eating less, but, you know, not being so militant about it. So I was quite daunted when I found out that this was something I could have, but I'm feeling a lot better about it now.
The PCOS stuff that my mum had talked about her having been diagnosed, had like sat with me in the back of my mind. And so in my second year of uni, so I was 19 or 20, I like went to the doctors about it. And I remember this doctor's appointment like really vividly, because I was very nervous. I knew that PCOS can mean for some people that they're not able to have children. And that was something that really scared me, because I've always been a very broody person, and having kids is something that I'd always imagined for myself would happen. And so I went to this doctor's appointment, asked me all the questions, she weighed me, she got me to stand on the scales. I remember really vividly taking my shoes off, which I think she asked me to do, but I was also very like aware that this would make me weigh less, in inverted commas, and thinking really like having a real awareness of that, and then walking from the scales, which were outside her office in a corridor, back to her office in my socks, and her telling me that I was overweight. And it wasn't in a callous way. She said, like, you should lose weight and your periods will probably be normal, or probably be regular. She probably didn't say the word normal. But I remember being really, like, unsatisfied with that, because I knew that I wasn't overweight to the degree that it, like, would be messing up my menstrual cycle. I really felt that that wasn't the root cause of the problem. I got referred for an ultrasound at, like, a private, really fancy private clinic, which was very intimidating. And I went for this ultrasound, like the one like you see in a movie when someone's pregnant, like the jelly over your stomach and the sort of scanner thing. And then they said they couldn't really see enough detail from that, and so they would have to do insert a probe, which was like so scary that I hadn't been prepared for that at all. It was just like on the day, like, yeah, we're gonna put this in your vagina. That was quite a lot. So I had that scan as well at the same time, at that same appointment at the referral. Can't remember how long went by, but I remember getting the letter through, or maybe having an appointment. I can't quite remember how I found out, but basically telling me, yes, you've got PCOS. And I remember just losing it, just crying in my bed for like a day, thinking like, this is it. The way I have always thought of my life is no longer gonna be how my life actually turns out. And just absolutely like catastrophizing it and thinking, I'm not going to be able to have children. That's never going to happen for me. Oh my God, this is the worst thing.
6 a.m. I can't move. Again. Incredible. Methanic acid. Can't move yet. Just in the fetal position. And it just feels like there's something, I don't know. It just hurts so much. I don't wish this pain on anyone. Yeah, it happens to our fucking population. I feel nauseous, dizzy. The pain's still there, even though I've taken painkillers. I feel shit. And I was meant to get loads of work done today, and that's just not gonna happen now. Which is probably one of the most frustrating things. Because I had however much planned to do today and now it's just fucking gone. Because my brain just goes all foggy. I can't focus on things. I'm achy and tired. Got my lovely Scooby hot water bottle. And that's probably the only thing making me feel any better right now. I just didn't have to. Just have to write off a good 2 days every month.
Not enough people are talking about the butthole pain. Oh my god, I don't even know how to describe the butthole pain. Yeah, I have pain during sex and mainly during menstruation when I'm actually bleeding, and I've had to be hospitalized a couple of times, so that's been annoying. And the doctors are even more frustrating because they go, "Oh, have you tried paracetamol?" And I'm like, "You think I haven't tried paracetamol?" So yeah, when doctors are dismissive and all that, when you come in with your symptoms and you're crying in pain, it does deplete your mental health in a way because when doctors are dismissive, where does that really lead you? Like, it just creates all these overwhelming emotions and thoughts that run through your head thinking, oh my God, I'm a psychopath. Which really you're not, you probably just have endometriosis, but it's hard to see through that when medical professionals are dismissing you completely and saying that you're fine. But the main thing for me is the body image thing and my mental health as well. And I feel like the two are very, very coincided because I have this thing called endo belly, and thank God for high-waisted jeans for hiding that for me. It's like this really intense, really painful bloating. And for me, it looks like I'm in my 3rd trimester and I'm about to pop out a baby. And when I was 15 and 16 and a virgin, I was a bit like, oh my God, Mum, I am the Virgin Mary. Look at this. This is amazing. But yeah, that novelty started to wear off pretty quickly after that. When I became a young adult, I became very insecure about my body, strictly only wore baggy clothes, never really liked revealing my body. It just makes you feel really worthless, quite disgusting, which it shouldn't at all. You should absolutely love your body, but for some reason there's just this pregnancy belly, which I absolutely hate on myself, which is absolutely normal, but for some reason in today's society it's deemed disgusting and unworthy, which really sucks, unfortunately.
It was such a horrible experience because I felt like my thoughts and what I really felt were just brushed aside. I didn't get a proper diagnosis and was dimly told to lose weight. After that, I felt too nauseous to even go to the doctors about this, and it took me a while to get the courage to go to a different doctor, but I'm glad I did go. I do think the biggest difference here was that the doctor I got this time was female, and I felt like she understood the situation I was in. After several tests and such, she diagnosed me with PCOS, and I'm not sure how I felt. Like, relieved that I finally knew what the issue was, but also a little sad. I was told to go on birth control to help me regulate my periods.
So in terms of my own experiences, I've been to the doctors quite a few times to discuss my painful periods, the irregularity, mood swings, and, all the things that come along with it. I've had many blood tests, but I was doing kind of my own research online, and for PCOS, which is the kind of thing I think I had due to my mother and my sister both having evidence of cysts. With a lot of PCOS cases, it won't show up on a blood test. Obviously some people do, and that is why they do them, but it's not the most reliable way. And yet, just because it's the quick and easy, you don't have to book in for ultrasound or whatever, and they just get you in, get the blood test, and they're like, no, you don't have it, so go away. That kind of thing. Even though I'm like, well, if I don't have it, what the fuck is going on? I'm still like bedridden every month with pain, even with like prescription painkillers that I've been given and taking cocodamol, just being like just dead out mentally for that long. It's not something I should have to think about kind of, oh shit, I can't do this weekend because I might come on my period. Like 2 days ago I came on, and my disc is due in 2 weeks, and what? How am I meant to do it? How am I meant to work when all I can do is lie in bed with a hot water bottle and cry? It's just not fair. I think about the amount of time I've lost to my periods, and there's days and days on end, if you add them all together, where I've literally done nothing because my body is trying to kill me. Well, it's not, but it feels like it. It really does feel like it. I'm not exaggerating. So yeah, I've now been booked in. I've now been referred to Southmead Hospital for an ultrasound, just to see what's going on in there. But I was referred 4 or 5 months ago almost, and I still haven't had a letter of an appointment. I still haven't been contacted. You know, these things just are so slow, and I'm just fed up of not knowing. Or I'm fed up of going to the doctors and just being told, oh, go on the pill, or if you start a family, you'll be fine. That's not what you should be telling people now. I'm 23. I should be able to get on with my life and be able to control and manage the pain that I feel and know why it's happening. I think this is the main thing. It's like doctors don't trust you. It's like doctors don't have enough trust in what you're feeling. They won't do anything about it because they're like, oh, well, it's just a period, blah, 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 it's painful. It's just not fair. It shouldn't have to be that way. And there's so many things. There's so many other things. I'm fucking fed up of it. I am fed up. I just want to be listened to. I want to be told that I can get control and feel comfortable about my own issues with everything, because at the moment I have no clue what's going on with my body. I don't know why my body feels like it's just trying to stab me. I don't know. You know, my uterus it's like it wants to up and leave every month. And so do I. I just want to know why, and doctors just really won't listen. Funnily enough for me, I think the best doctors I have ever had for it are male, which I know contradicts what you would think, but I feel like with a lot of the female doctors I've had, they've either just given me medication, like pain relief, and dealt with the kind of symptoms, or dealt with the pain management, rather than with them being like, oh, let's look at that. Let's, they're just kind of like, oh, she's being a pussy, give her some pain medication. Like, no, I'm not, and I want to know why I'm having this much. Like, it's not normal. And it wasn't until I spoke to a male doctor and he actually listened to me. He actually listened to what I was saying about how long I've been trying. I've tried the pill, I've tried everything. The pill just makes me crazy. Any hormones just make me actually crazy. So I can't do that. The pain medication does it to a point. It's also still shit. It was only until that male doctor listened to me and actually let me just speak in a doctor's appointment and didn't interrupt me, where he was like, okay, no, let's get to the root of this, and referred me for an ultrasound. Obviously I still haven't had that, but it's a step in the right direction, and it's the closest I've been to any sort of resolution in the last 7 or 8 years, or however long I've been trying to fix this for. And it's a similar story with everyone I know. I think the stat on endometriosis is that the average time that it takes to get diagnosed is about 7 to 10 years or something like that. And that's ridiculous. Can you imagine if heart disease or something like that was took that long to get diagnosed in everyone? It's mental. And people are hospitalised by these conditions. Endometriosis really isn't something to sniff at. I've had multiple friends who have been in hospital and have had operations on their body because of endometriosis. A friend of a friend was in a wheelchair because of endometriosis. It's not something that is to be taken lightly.